And again, batting nearly 300 on the year, they will be going up against Ariana Adams.
Yeah, you know, this squad, I think I like what she's doing here. She's got 3 different batters right now currently hitting over 400. She has them sprinkled throughout that lineup. I have to think that has a lot to do with trying to get that lineup to turn over a little bit more.
This is the second all-time meeting between Houston Baptist and the Longhorns. Previous one, a 5-0 Texas win.
Ariana Adams getting the nod today. What you're going to expect out of her, she's going to stay in the mid-60s. She's got that curve rise, drop change, but the name of her game is this year is location, location, location. She has worked so hard at making sure that she has so much more command of her pitches, Alex, and that's what we've noticed out of her so far this season.
It's a Texas pitching staff as a whole that has the 3rd best ERA in the nation, under 1, 0.97. And the 5th best in program history after the first 13 games of the season. Phenomenal pitching, phenomenal offense so far this year under Mike White. Leading things off for the Huskies will be Heidi Jaquez, the catcher in the leadoff spot. Phenomenal hitter, strong defensively as well.
Not every day do you see a catcher getting that leadoff. But hey.
Besides Megan Lewis.
Yeah, no way.
Jaquez, a preseason All-Southland Conference player.
She does lead her team in stolen bases, so something tells me she's up there because she is fast. She's on that left side. She's swinging a .414 bat.
Not bad at all.
Only a couple doubles, so I'm assuming most of hers are all singles. She might go with a bunt every now and then with that speed.
1-2 from Adams, poked foul.
Ariana Adams, I feel like last year she didn't get a whole lot of time out there in the circle with Paige Von Sprecken, but Bollinger getting really the healthy load of it. So this year she went in the offseason, she worked with Coach White. Again, they went back to working on her mechanics and trying to find different speeds. Coach White said last week he felt that she had just threw all her pitches at one speed, so she really wanted to work on changing speed, get a better off speed, and then making sure her pitches were moving in the correct manner.
This is really kind of still her freshman season after barely throwing it all a year ago. 1-2, lifted into foul territory. Reach the stands. Longhorns pitching with a 5.5 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio. That is more than double the ratio from a year ago for this staff.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that's exactly, I mean, just that stat alone, Alex, that's something we've talked about with the Texas pitching staff in the past, right, is how many extra free passes they gave up. And you have to think that number is just so glaring that in the offseason, again, any coach coming into a program, any new staff is going to try to figure that out and try to figure out new ways to get these pitchers to hone in on the strike zone. And sometimes it's more just about confidence and understanding that it's pretty dang hard to hit a ball. Like, so it's not hard to walk, right? You can take your bases. So attack these hitters and force them to swing at your best pitches.
Payoff pitch and a free pass. Leadoff walk for Heidi Jaquez.
Of course, just as that's what we're talking about.
As for the Texas defense, things have been shifted around a little bit over at third. Mallory Schottel getting the start. Caitlin Slack, of course, at short. Jefferson at second. Lauren Burke getting the call over at first. And then in the outfield, left to right, it's Rhodes, Hathaway, and Alcover. There's Autumn Sidlick showing bunt.
Saw Lauren Burke transition into the infield about middle of the tournament last weekend. you've been seeing Caitlin Washington there, but she's come on in there, also having to do with Becca Alcozer hitting, and they need a place to put her. Alcozer's more comfortable out there in right field. Burke a little bit more flexible, able to jump right into that infield position.
Texas has been tinkering with their defense. If there was one area to shore up, that would probably be it for the Longhorns, as they have committed 16 errors in 13 games. 1-1 to Autumn Sidlick. Charging in his shot. There's the first out of the game.
It's a good job by Sidlick, just committing to that sacrifice bunt here early in the game.
A lot of freshmen in this lineup. Sidlick was, after being retired. Here comes Caitlin Brockway, also a freshman. Getting 167 on the season. Well, it's interesting to see the Texas pitching staff take shape. Started the season with Elish and Bollinger kind of as the 1 and 2s. All of a sudden, Shea O'Leary with a phenomenal start, 5-0 to her college career, making a push to be a regular starter. Want to find a good role for Adams as well.
I think this O'Leary was a huge recruit for them. She's nice and tall, she's lanky, she throws the ball hard. And you're just, like you said, you're watching this staff really formulating work together. I think between her and Elish, the fact that they are just pounding the strike zone. There's a point at one point last weekend, O'Leary threw 27 straight strikes, just going right at the pace of their pitching is nice. And I think like what really complements both Elish and O'Leary, because they are hard right-handed power pitchers, Brooke Bollinger comes in and she spins it a lot more. She has a couple different off speeds. She has the left-hand side look. So I do really think this is a staff that's just going to get stronger throughout the season.
1-2 misses. Swing and a miss, as that one is strikeout number 1 on the night for Adams.
It's a great job by Adams going with that rise ball. You've seen her try to get it a couple different times. This time she gets it right above the letters. Before, I think they've just been a little too high. You're not watching the batters bite. That one, great location.
Still not out of the woods just yet with a runner in scoring position. The cleanup hitter, Demi Yannick, leading the team in home runs a year ago. Led the squad in just about every major offensive category, batting average, homers, and RBI. Still looking to pick that average up this year, but 2 of her 6 hits have left the yard to lead the team.
And there's that off speed. First batter, you saw her bounce it in a couple times. That's usually just trying to figure out where your release point is. Nothing to worry about. You keep throwing it though, and that's why third batter here, fourth batter, now she's got her timing in and hovering it right down by the knees.
Big swing and a miss from Yannick. One, 2 with 2 away, and we'll do it again.
think you're still trying to find a rhythm out there. Adams is she's not able to go right at the batter when she's wanting to. She's going a little bit deeper into counts. That's off to Houston Baptist, though, making sure they're not swinging at anything out of the zone.
2-2 lifted to shallow right center. And Jefferson makes the grab, so the Huskies strand one. And what a start at Texas. 12-1 with the Longhorns, 9-0 at home. And puts out a Texas offense that is batting nearly .340 on the season so far.
Yeah, this is an offense that you've watched. I feel like that Reagan Hathaway, Janae Jefferson have been the mainstays at the top there, but everyone else has been pretty interchangeable, and I mean that in a good way. You have everyone just really fighting. I mean, look at all those averages right there. You have everyone fighting to move up and try to turn that lineup over. I feel like it's one of those just pass the bats. They want to.
Jessica Patak, the sophomore from White Oak, Texas, gets the start for Houston Baptist. Leading things off in her usual spot, Reagan Hathaway for the Longhorns.
What you're going to expect out of Patak here is she's going to stay in the mid-50s. Get a little bit high there, probably not going to overpower the hitters with her speed. However, she spins it really well, so expect a couple different speeds coming out of her. She does have that curveball, and she can throw it to both sides of the plate. I feel like the name of the game for the Huskies here, though, is to keep that off-speed mix in there. They've got to use that changeup to try to keep these batters off balance.
For the Longhorns, averaging about 6.5 runs per game. Hathaway leading the charge. A team high 7 doubles. Tied for the team lead with 8 walks as well.
Exactly what you want to see out of your leadoff.
Lifted down the line in right field, and it will drop foul.
What I mean that is your leadoff batter, you want that batter to see a lot of pitches. You want her to go deep into counts so that the rest of the batters in that lineup have a good idea of what this pitcher might throw. You have your 5th pitch here, and you've already seen her throw her off speed. You've seen her throw her curve. You've seen her throw a straight change. Now as here the next batter's coming up, you can hopefully have your timing. Change up again. That's 2 change-ups just to the very first batter. So again, I like that. You've got to do it. This has everything to do with her patience right here, Alex. The fact that she was able to keep her weight back on a lot of those change-ups beforehand. This time she gets one up in the zone. She's able to drive. Just a great piece of hitting.
What a start to the season for Reagan Hathaway after an injury-plagued career. Here's Janae Jefferson showing bunt, and so much for a sophomore slump for Jefferson. Batting 42 points higher compared to a year ago at this time, with more steals and runs scored.
She has really just turned it on after that first weekend here. She went out to Clearwater, tore it up there last weekend again.
Sidlick gets her at first, but Hathaway moves on to third. Here comes Shannon Rhodes in the 3 spot, the Oregon transfer, leading the Longhorns in home runs and RBI. Sitting on 99 career runs driven in.
Like what Rhodes has added to this, not only the offense but defensive well. You've seen her come right into this starting lineup. You can understand why with her bat, the way she swings it. But you've seen her at third base and then also out in the outfield. She's played left, she's played right. She's pretty much wherever you need me, I'll be there, coach. But I just like how strong and confident she looks at the plate. And she even started, I think she started probably the year down in the 8-hole, 7-hole.
Yeah.
Worked her way up right now.
And Mike White not afraid to shift players up and down depending on whether they have the hot hand or not.
I like that. I asked them that before the game. You know, I guess it really wasn't a question, but it was more as, is this something that you've always done? You're not afraid to move these batters around? Absolutely not. Got to play who's hot and ride that out as long as you can go, and I couldn't agree more.
400 last weekend.
And I think it just creates just some healthy
competition
amongst the lineup, amongst the starters. I think pretty much that right now, their starting lineup 1 through 7. Your great piece of hitting again by Rhodes. I think this is why you see her moved up. She was able to get a ball up in the zone. Again, it's about staying patient and not being ahead of the ball, and just understanding where the runners are. Get that sac fly.
So with 2 away now, nobody on, Mary Iacopo in the cleanup spot. Another Oregon transfer. The catcher has reached base in every single game she's played so far as a Longhorn.
Although Texas's numbers don't show it right now, they only, have 5 home runs on the season.
Yep.
Something tells me majority of those. I just remember Lauren Burks last weekend. So 4 coming out in Clearwater. They head to Arizona State. They go down to Tempe next weekend. 200-foot fences, shorter fences. People talk about how hard it is to hit the ball out of the park here at Red and Charlene McCombs. I think they'll come back here with a handful of home runs.
This one will turn foul. Yeah, there's been a bunch of them over the last week, certainly at the Invitational, that ended up dying on the track. That probably a lot of other stadiums would have left the yard.
Yeah, I just think you've been watching a Texas squad, not always known for the home runs. Again, I think people, what did Coach White call it, the graveyard out here? And he's watching, that's coming from the Jane out in up in Oregon, and there again, 200-foot fences. So yeah, down the line here, Austin, same thing, but it's the 10-foot, it's the height of it, it's the deep.
One as we get ready for the second inning. Mariana Adams back out to face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Huskies.
Yeah, this is more like it, Alex. First time coming back to Austin this season without rain. Feeling good. This is how I remember it.
It's supposed to be in the 40s in a few days, but I'm not going to worry about that. Sierra Humphrey leading the team with a .462 average this year, just 1 strikeout on the season. Strike 2 for Humphrey. This is a Houston Baptist team again. 5-5, but that's more than halfway to their win total of a year ago when they went 9-34 overall. So far, Adams given up a walk and registered a strikeout.
Watching her really work on that outside corner to the lefties here. I like the fact that she's keeping it down at the knees, Adams is, and she's throwing that screwball, stair-stepping, able to get ahead in the first 2 pitches, trying to get it off the plate. 0-2. Wasn't able to get the bite and goes back at it again. Wouldn't be surprised if you see a changeup here.
Just getting a piece of that. It's Humphrey.
And that was a changeup.
You called it.
I'm on to you, Coach White. Just kidding. I can't guess a thing that he's doing. Not yet, at least. But I love picking his brain. I love trying to figure out the moves he makes. It's been very much enjoyable for myself, I think, up here. You get used to it, right? I've known Coach Clark forever. She's been the only coach here, and getting to play under her and understand how she likes their pitchers to work. I caught, obviously, for some of the best pitchers who worked under Coach Clark as well, and it's just nice to learn a new perspective.
Slack retired Humphrey there, so Brooke Bushman coming up. Yeah, White has Made just about every right call so far. The lone loss coming to LSU in St. Pete. As we said, looking to start off 13-1. Texas hasn't done that since the year they went to the Women's College World Series. Brooke Bushman back in the starting lineup after getting hit with the ball a few games ago. Missed a couple of contests, but healthy and ready to resume play. Slack calls for it, two-way. So far, Adams yet to give up a hit through the first 6 batters. Here comes Riley Bullen with 2 outs. JUCO transfer from San Jacinto College. Hit an impressive 401 there a year ago with 22 doubles. Falls behind 2-0. This one sliced to Jefferson, and the sophomore is there. It's a 1-2-3 frame worked by Adams. The infield for the junior.
What a treat you saw there. They talked about she didn't hit a whole lot last year. That was due to a nagging ankle injury from the fall season. But the fact that she's healthy, they have no issues with her hitting. They're going to keep her in the lineup. Man, a true double threat, and what a huge pickup for Texas.
Kind of moved up and down the lineup over the past week. Cooled off a little bit at the plate at the Invitational. Now hitless over the last 3 games, but again, still batting well over 300 for the season.
Yeah, before that tournament, she was hitting an even 500. But I tell you what, even though she wasn't getting those hits, she was scorching the ball, just missing them. I think deep fly balls into center field. That's why you still didn't see her there in the middle of the lineup.
Ahead of that one. As the count goes 1-2. Seen Elish all the way up at 3 in the lineup this season, bumped down towards the bottom half of the order, and right now in the middle of the lineup. Katak misses badly on that one. Reagan Hathaway led off the game with a double for Texas. Shannon Rhodes brought her home with a sac fly. It's been the difference so far.
Oh my gosh, look at that ERA, a 2.3. Nothing like having that and still hitting high 300s.
It's allowed 1 earned run. Both her and O'Leary have each allowed just 1 earned run all year.
Texas fans are happy about that.
Freshman looks on from the dugout.
I feel like Elish is taking a little fashion inspo from O'Leary there with the sunglasses. Have not seen Elish with the glasses on. We'll see if she ever pitches with them too.
Oh, it's rarely been sunny for any of our games so far in Austin.
Got those glasses on.
She said that's her trademark, the glasses and the headband. Wore them all throughout high school. That's her thing.
O'Leary's, that's right.
2-2. Do it again. Shadows starting to creep in over McCombs Field, where the Longhorns have been perfect this year. With a win tonight, Texas will be off to the 2nd best start in school history after the first 14 games of the season.
It's a nice job on both sides. I thought that you were going to get a changeup there. The fact that she has been so early, Miranda Ellis, she's actually swinging a few balls out of the zone. I think that has to just do with she's staying aggressive. But Talk doing a nice job not leaving it over the plate, trying to make her chase.
Full count offering, chopped foul over to first. Talk already throwing a lot of pitches. 10th pitch of the at-bat, number 30 of the game coming up.
Ellis can move up just a little bit in the box. She's still starting or the front part. This is all about just waiting a tad bit longer. I know she can move up quite a bit still.
This one over to second and bobbled by Lotz, and Ellis is aboard.
I'll tell you what, if there's anything, it's hard to be an opposing team at this ball field at games late in the afternoon here. That sun goes right into that second base. You can see the shadows there anyways, and Lotz has her visor. Unfortunately not able to come up with that. Nothing Ellis could do there. She has this, yeah, you have to hold up to see if, you know, Parker's going to come up with that. I think, again, you've got some harsh sun coming into that right side of the infield and the outfield. But this ball just well hit. It would have went over her head anyways, and then the good bounce off the wall so that everyone could get that extra 60 feet.
These Ducks have to be thinking, come on, these former Ducks. Burke hits one off the bottom of the wall. Rhodes hits one to the track an inning ago. And here comes Alcozer, who's been tearing the cover off the ball as well. She's been a revelation this year. A career .253 hitter over her first 3 seasons, batting .364.
Shortstop, she doesn't get that 2-run score, so a great job not only just keeping in the infield, but having the whereabouts and knowing what's happening right in front of her, because she probably still would have had Alcozer at first, but watching that lead runner, that's huge.
Very poised play by Yannick, didn't panic. Got the first out of the inning. It's a runner on first now for Caitlin Slack. Seen Slack in and out of the lineup offensively this year, but an everyday starter defensively at short.
Yeah, still trying to find her time in there at the plate.
Only hit .212 last year. The average up at .294 so far this season.
I think the biggest thing you can take away here is that coach is going to have her start at shortstop, so no matter what, right? So if you're the athlete, it's really all about your own confidence and making sure you're working through and stay the course and don't get so hard on yourself or too tough on yourself, because you know you're going to get another shot. So much easier to say it up here in a booth.
No, but you're right. I mean, and Mike White is a big fan of hers, her work ethic, her local leadership in the infield. This one hit over to Yannick again. It goes to second for 1. And they don't get the inning ending out at first. So for Texas so far, 2 hits, both of them doubles. Both of those runners have been brought in. Runner on first now, 2 away for the 9-hitter, Mallory Schottel. Schottel hitting just 133, but Mike White has gone out of his way to mention he still likes the way she's swinging the bat. It's like she's gotten a little bit unlucky with where the ball has gone once it leaves the bat. This one goes to right field, but it dies down. Parker lost it for a moment, but recovers, and the inning is over. But Texas tacks on another, and the Horns lead 2-0 after 2. With Florida State.
Absolutely, that's huge. Kocha doing great things there in Florida State, still ranked #1, undefeated. They went in, I know, the Clearwater tournament. They went undefeated, obviously, but top 3 ranked teams there, so have been tested. I think that was a lot of the conversation early in the season, right? How do you keep these rankings up. UCLA was up. They hadn't played any ranked teams. Last weekend they did. They went out there. They were able to take one from Oklahoma. So they are getting tested and proving to everyone, yes, we should be up here too.
Now the question for Texas fans, say, when is Texas going to be up there? They're not far off in all three major polls. They are in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just keep doing exactly what they're doing right now, right? And get those big wins. Next weekend they'll go play a ranked ASU team a couple times, so that should help. Then in 2 weeks they come back. Minnesota's coming down here. I think those are going to be some of their true tests. And then you get in the Big 12, and all of a sudden Big 12 has four ranked teams in the top 25. Baylor right on the cusp as well. So 5, which has been the most. And, man, I can't remember the last time you had all 5, not all 5, but 5 Big 12 teams. You have Oklahoma, Texas, Texas Tech. I mean, they're on a tear right now.
Unreal start for them.
They were 13-0. They just lost their last game, so they're 13-1 to Washington. But they're doing an excellent job. And Oklahoma State's up in the top 25.
Amber Lotz drops one foul. Yeah, who would have thought you'd have 4 Big 12 teams in the polls early, and Baylor would not be one of them?
Yeah, no, you wouldn't. And so this is going to be huge. It's great for the conference in general. There's been some big transfers, not only at Texas, Oklahoma State. Got a couple. I mean, and you've got G. Juarez that came from ASU that went over to Oklahoma. So I think you have some good eyes watching Big 12 right now, and it's usually been quite the, I think, a silent conference, really. And that's why these teams have had to pack their pre-conference schedule so hard, because they weren't getting the competition they needed to help pad their RPI late in the season.
Oklahoma top 10 batting average. Texas Tech, they started off 13-0, as you mentioned. Shaw with 5 home runs, transferring to Oklahoma State.
Thank you. That's exactly who I was thinking of. From A&M, Texas A&M. Shaw's there now. But Oklahoma, you saw that they had the 2 losses. Well, guess who their 2 losses are to? And that's why they're still ranked up in the top 5 to defending national champions, Florida State, #1, and UCLA, #2.
It seems like every year Oklahoma's losses always come early in the year.
But that's because when they've been padding on, or not padding on, playing the deep competition, the #1 and the #2 teams in the nation.
There's a strikeout, by the way, for Ariana Adams, second of the night.
This is a great changeup. She's found her rhythm with this pitch. It's going to be her changeup. She throws it out of the back of her hand. Beautiful.
Here comes the freshman from Liberty, Texas, Cameron Parker. And for Adams, she has now retired 7 batters in a row since allowing that leadoff walk. In fact, no Houston Baptist hitter has hit the ball out of the infield today. Coach White said for Adams, about 70% of her pitches this year have been of the quality, variety, location, a heck of a lot better than it was a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
And looks confident out there.
Well, when you get the time out there and you're able to stay and hit the strike zone, I feel like last year that was her arch nemesis, right? She was putting too many batters on. She wasn't able to find that strike zone early. And unfortunately, because of that, you have a short leash on an athlete like that. She's been able to prove herself, stay out there longer, and really start to work into a rhythm and get comfortable.
29 of her 46 pitches have been strikes. 1-2 fouled back off the bat of Parker. So again, Texas with the 3rd best ERA in the nation, the 18th best batting average so far through 13 games. A loaded lineup, and not just of Oregon players. Plenty of the players that were already here stepping up big time. Becca Alcozer, Washington, Reagan Hathaway, and Ariana Adams has now struck out 2 in a row.
Yeah, I feel like, again, you're just watching a team start to gel and mesh together. Here you are, third inning. I'm starting to think that's the backdoor curve and not the screw, the way she's able to keep that down. She's coming around that pitch just a little bit more. It's confident. I mean, you look at your pitching staff, you want to do exactly what these pitchers are throwing up numbers, right? You have O'Leary, number 10 in the nation. You've got Elish, number 9. Those are some big shoes to want to do the same thing with. And right now, I feel like she's looking comfortable.
Back up to the top of the order, Heidi Jaquez. And it's going to be interesting to see where Brooke Bollinger now fits into the rotation, whether it's starting, coming out of the pen, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I still think she has such a great look from the left side. Completely different than any of these other pitchers, not just because she's a lefty. She has multiple speeds. She can throw a straight change, an off-speed curve. She can throw her curve to both sides of the plate, a screw, a rise. And again, I think you match that against someone like an Elish, maybe come in relief if she needs it. It's tough. It's a big adjustment. Not only just speed, but their whole look.
Jaquez reached on a leadoff walk. And that has been it for the Houston Baptist offense. Again, that was hitting nearly 300 on the season. The 2-2 with 2 away. Full count offering. This one lifted to deep right center. Al Kozer converging with Hathaway, who makes the grab. And another 1-2-3 inning as Adam times cooperating, sometimes not. Back up to the top of the order we go. Reagan Hathaway, Janae Jefferson, and Shannon Rhodes getting ready to go here in the bottom of the third. Texas with a couple of runs off 2 hits and no errors. The Huskies 0-0-1. Hathaway already with 8 doubles on the season. Now in her 14th game. There's one hit to left center. Humphrey charging, but it'll be Bullen from left field for the first out. Texas continues to hit the ball hard. But away for Janae Jefferson. 463 coming into the game, which was second best in the Big 12. Sitting on 93 career hits. Already approaching 100, and she's barely into her sophomore campaign.
Awesome. Ooh, I think Jefferson gets away with that one. They're going to say she didn't go. They even asked for help. And I think she almost just kept her bat out there just out of pure protection. That ball was up.
Out of fear?
Yeah.
It's called strike.
Really, I'm pretty impressed by Jessica Patak here, the way that she's throwing, that she's keeping these batters off balance. She's not throwing a lot of strikes. She's doing a great job hitting her corners, or at least keeping it down in the zone. And I really think it's her speed right now, or the fact that she is probably, I don't think she's topping out over 58 miles an hour, really. And then she's throwing that changeup quite often to keep these batters guessing a little bit.
And she's induced 3 straight flyouts. And again, only one of the 2 runs she has allowed was earned. 2-way now for Shannon Rhodes, who drove in one of those runs with a sac fly to deep left field in the first. Top working inside on these batters in the same. Rhodes back up the middle, off the glove of Patak. Yannick charging, unable to make the throw.
Rhodes has a little bit of speed in her. I think you see her, it's a little deceptive, right? And a lot of times we've seen her go with that sneaky bunt, but this one right off the glove there of the pitcher, and just enough for her to easily be safe at first.
Third hit of the game for Texas, so 21 of 22 in stolen bases.
Yeah, she gets a great lead, and here, this is what I'm talking about, that sneaky speed. You see someone hitting in that spot, you're not expecting her to steal. That's her 5th stolen base on the season. It's really good leads.
Texas so aggressive on the bases this year. Rhodes now 5 stolen bases, tied for the team lead.
Kind of reminds me of Taylor Hoagland. Taylor Hoagland used to play here for Texas. They're built the same. They both can mash the ball. Taylor Hoagland could hit the ball farther than anyone, but she was the leadoff for Texas. She was up there again because she could hit for average, home run. She was one of the best hitters, if not the best hitter on that lineup those years.
I'm going to dart right to Yannick, and the threat is over. But the Longhorns still up 2-0 after 3. We'll talk to the head coach, Mike White, next. Care of the rest, 3 strikeouts so far. Now joining us, head coach of the Longhorns, Mike White. Coach, we saw you just a moment ago during the commercial break, kind of getting into your team a little bit there. What was your words of wisdom to the squad?
Not that words of wisdom, but maybe long in the tooth, maybe. But you know, it's really about timing. You know, the kid's not throwing 65 out there, and so the hardest thing is to slow down sometimes, and that's what we got to do. We got to slow down, adjust our timing, and be content with base hits now. Right now, we're just trying to make too much happen.
Speaking of timing, Ariana and the Adams starts the game with the walk, seems to settle in. What have you liked about her so far in this game?
Well, she's been coming back and getting out some tough situations. So her changeup's a little inconsistent right now. So I want to see that get a lot better. And also working ahead on the hitters. Right now we're a little under, or 50% or so. So we got to get better at that.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
Okay, thanks.
There is the aforementioned Adams back out in the circles, retired 9 in a row since giving up the leadoff walk.
But I like the fact you hear the coach right away. They have goals within a game, goals within an inning, goals within an at-bat. He's talking about the percentage of strikes to ball ratio. And although, as you and I and a lot of the viewers are watching, she's doing her job. She's getting these out. She's got 3 strikeouts. He's asking for her to be better, wants her to be better. And that has to do with getting ahead of batters. There's no secret. I don't really think there's any coach out there that wants their pitchers to fall behind in a count, but he's very vocal about how he likes to push his pitching staff to make sure they get ahead of the batters.
What are you making of
First
the job
2
she's
pitches.
done so far, obviously besides the statistics?
Yeah, I think, just listening to what Coach White said, she has done a good job getting out of situations. That leadoff runner gets on by a walk, sacrifice bunt over in scoring position. She goes right away and gets the next 2 batters. I think although she is falling behind, she's able to go right back to work.
Schottel at third, unable to grasp that one, so the leadoff hitter Autumn Sidlick is aboard. First hit of the game for the Huskies.
You saw once again she started behind, so she has to go right back and maybe a little bit too good. She's utilizing, I still think that's a backdoor curve on the inside part of the plate. I think that one just comes right back over a little bit too much.
And Coach also, and by the way, that was scored a hit as it should have been. As Caitlin Brockway lays down the bunt, runner advances. Coach also still trying to figure out who's going to be the everyday third baseman for Texas. We've seen Schottel over there and Rhodes as well.
Yeah, we saw MK Tedder work into the batting lineup. We haven't seen her at third base. MK Tedder was the starting third baseman last year for Texas. So you have to know you have that in your back pocket too.
Well, he told us a week or 2 ago she would be a backup catcher, but then she appeared in right field in one game. It's been all over.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the catching, right, because Ellsworth is out, you only have Iacopo. Lauren Burke got back there for an inning, but you've got to get some people some reps, and it's not just catching. My gosh, there's so much more that goes into it. It's relaying the pitches. Coach White calls the pitches, but you still have to understand what you're putting down there so you don't think you're putting a rise and catching a drop. So there is still quite a few bit of movement in Texas's defense.
Taylor Ellsworth listed officially at week to week. After the hand injury, they do expect to have her back by the end of the regular season.
Yeah, and it's on her catching hand there.
I mean, Yannick skies one fell.
I think my first instinct, you know, I've worked a lot with Taylor Ellsworth when she was younger, and so her mom let me know right away, you know, what happened, because it was on the Sunday and wasn't working that game, so I didn't see it. I was like, what do you mean she's not in the lineup? You know, going through the whole thing. But I feel like for her, she's just got to make sure she stays in the game, right? Like, you can't get down on yourself. This isn't anything you can control. But for her, I think it's all going to be about self-confidence and understanding there's really no other catchers out there. When you get healthy, you don't forget how to hit. I think that was my biggest message to her. You know, well, what happens? The team's doing good. Mary's doing good. I probably won't get to start. It's like, that is exactly not how you should be thinking. You need to make sure you take it day to day. And you've put in so many reps. You're a D1 collegiate athlete, and you're here for a reason.
Yannick to right, two-way. Yeah, and she was off to a good start, especially when you consider how her career had gone. Had the great freshman campaign, hit 394. Last year, the sophomore slump dropped to 244, but was hitting 500 through the first 3 games this year before the injury.
Yeah, and again, it just has everything to understand. You listen to your coach. If coach is going to remind you, hey, Taylor, you're one of our best hitters. The moment you're healthy, you're back. And I guess my favorite way of calling it is you've mind mapped your swing for years. You've taken hundreds or thousands and thousands of swings. Taking 3 weeks off, you're not going to forget how to play softball. You just have to get back in the cages. You'll get your time. You'll come right back. And if your coaching staff has that kind of confidence in you, then you definitely need to hold on to that and use that to your advantage. But yeah, I mean, it's on her catching hand, so some people might think that's better than your throwing hand, but you have to imagine, I mean, as a catcher, that hand's getting pounded every single pitch, so you need to make sure that thing's healthy.
And Mike White said before the injury, before the season even started really, her bat was so good. No matter what, there would always be a place for her in the lineup, at the very least offensively.
Yep. So again, for Texas fans out there, that's exciting too when you take a look at this lineup. You talk about the transfers that have come in to make a huge statement, but then you add a healthy, free-swinging Ellsworth, and then a healthy Hathaway. I just can't get over how big Hathaway's been. I think everyone's been waiting for it. Unfortunately, last year she wasn't ready to come back in time. Now she's healthy, and then you got Jefferson. It's a stacked lineup.
You also have Caitlin Washington, who, by the way, is getting the night off. No serious injury to Washington, as she's just getting a little rest. Of course, always dealing with that arthritic condition, ankylosing spondylitis. So they're just giving her the evening off, but she's been a force at the plate as well this season, batting .333.
It's a nice problem for coaches to have. Just juggling a whole bunch of mid to high 300 hitters.
Well, he told us the strength of this lineup, no doubt, was depth. And they are loaded right now. The 3-2 to Sierra Humphrey with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. This one poked to shallow center field. Hathaway on the run makes the grab. Keep talking about her at the plate. She's been great in the field as well. On to the bottom. Offense limited to 1 run. Pitching has allowed 2 runs, 1 earned. Here is Miranda Ellish leading things off at the plate for Texas. Gives one a ride, foul. To right, second time through the order for Texas, 1 for 4 so far. Shannon Rhodes coming up with the single, but a lot of hard hit balls for the Longhorns, lineouts and flyouts in the last inning.
Yeah, I think if you have talk, just keep hammering the inside corner to Ellis. She just keeps pulling it and pulling it. I think she might find herself in trouble if she actually goes outside. Mainly because she is so far out front. If she mishits it, she'll probably just hit it right up the middle. That and change-ups.
2-1 misses again. Ellish hitless in her last 3 games. one won't get out of the infield. Get away. Now it's another former Duck, Lauren Burke, came up with one of 2 Texas extra base hits tonight, a double in the second inning. Later it came around. The score is the Longhorns put 1 on the board in the first and 1 in the second. Shown quite a bit of power early in her Longhorns career, has Burke.
For Burke, it's been all about her timing. I feel like she's had timing all last weekend. At the invite, she came up big time with runners on. When we first started watching her that first weekend out, we were showing it she should bunt a little bit more. She could slap, but right now, there's no reason to be bunting when you're ripping balls off the wall.
Has the double earlier today, 2 triples on the year, a home run. Has gotten a hit in all but 2 games this year. Top again missing on the outside, so another 3-1 count to a Texas batter. Ellis could not take advantage moments ago. Let's see if Burke can.
That's tough. It's where you want to live, especially to a team that hits so well that Texas has been doing. You want to live right there at the knees. That one a little bit lower. The pitch before to make it a 3-ball count. Right on the corner.
First walk of the game Texas batters have earned tonight. So here comes Becca Alcozer, who drove in the second run of the game in the second. 9 RBI on the season, 3rd on the Longhorns.
She just missed that one. Right on plane, right on time. Just a little bit. Good late break. I think that's what Coach was talking about. She wanted her curveball to work a little bit better, and that one had a nice late break there.
11 home runs for Alcozer over the previous 2 years. Tops by any returning Longhorn. Still looking for her first long ball of this season. Behind in the count, 0-2. Alcozer had problems with strikeouts in the past. Just 1 in her last 5 games. Well, make it 2 in her last 5.5.
It's a good job by Patak. I feel like she just worked the zone a lot here. You saw a free swinger. Alcozer swung at the first pitch. The next one, you're trying to get her at that changeup. For Adams here, she was able to get 3 strikeouts. She used that changeup. She was able to find her rhythm. She was able to locate her pitches a lot more. And if she fell behind, she was able to go right back at those batters and get the out she needed.
She'll be replaced by Brooke Bollinger, the lefty, making her 6th appearance of the season. A little bit of trouble with the home runs lately. Has allowed 3 homers in her last 3 outings.
Yeah, 2 of them reversed Ole Miss last weekend, and I think that's a little out of character for her. She's going to use that her off speed a lot. She throws that curved ball to both sides of the plate, and she's sneaky speedy. But it's not that it's going to overpower batters. I think it's because it comes from the left side. Her hip comes through before the ball. It's deceptive. It kind of hides the ball a little bit longer, so it jumps on those batters really quick.
Now her 3rd relief appearance of the year to go with 3 starts. Facing the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Huskies lineup.
So this is one of those moments I talked about Coach White and trying to figure out his coaching style. And I think this move right here is everything to decide. Is Bollinger a relief pitcher?
Yep.
Is this a role that she can step into, especially knowing He's got 2 really hard-throwing righties. You've got to build people. In softball, being a relief pitcher isn't really a thing. You've got to build yourself into that and understand it, and understand when you need to go warm up, what part of the game you need to do that in, right? As a starter, you have your timing down. You know, okay, I got to be out there exactly. I mean, pitchers are all going to be different, but maybe exactly 40 minutes pregame. They know their whole pregame routine. When it comes to relief, you got to change that up a bit because you never know when they're going to come to you. So I think that's something he's working on, just like he's done that with the lineup and building who's going to be first off the bench, who he goes to as pinch hitters. So I think that's what we're watching right here, because there's no reason to take Ariana Adams out. She's pitching really good. Her pitch count's low, only at 70. He could have used her that whole game, but I think this is him building a staff and understanding and getting his players to buy into what he's trying to get them to work on.
Count 2-2 to Brooke Bushman. At this point in the season, where do you think Bollinger fits best? Coming out of the pen or starting?
That's a good question.
Or should we wait and see?
You know, I think a lot of it also has to do with who she follows, too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But still, that different look from the left side. You see that curveball. It's so hard, lefty on lefty. It goes away from the batter. She gets really great late movement. I have to think that thing moves a foot.
I mean, at times she looks brilliant. Last year, held left-handed hitters to a batting average below 150.
Yep.
And then at other times, as we talked about, has struggled with the home runs, does not get the call there, so we go to a full count.
Unfortunately for her, I think that has everything to do with Iakopo setting up outside, and she actually misses in. I think that was strike 3, though.
There's strike 3.
The game knows, Alex. It's a nice job, and she has the rise ball. So, again, I'm a huge fan of Bollinger. I like the way she works the ball around the zone. She did give up the long balls. I'd have to go back and look at the game and see if that was just because she left them up in the zone or if that was, you know, good timing by Ole Miss part. But that is a great rise ball. She gets it up and out of the zone. Just moves the ball all over the place.
And her strikeout rate has increased in each of the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
That was career strikeout number 180 of Bollinger's career. And she's ahead of Riley Bullen, 0-1. th in the nation in strikeouts per 7 innings, and you compare that to her sophomore campaign here at Texas when it was just 4 strikeouts per 7 innings.
I have to imagine the hardest part now is when you have 4 starters and Ariana Adams is making sure you're continuing to get them enough work in game situations, and if they're not in the game, they're getting really good, hard, long workouts in the bullpen during game days.
Bollinger with 23 strikeouts and 7 walks this year. And 3 out of the 4 Texas pitchers are allowing an opposing batting average of less than 170 this season. And another full count on the way from Bollinger. Two batters face, 2 strikeouts.
Bollinger this time going with that backdoor curve. She can throw it on the outside part of the plate. She's able to get that one up in the zone a little bit too.
Two-way for Amber Lotz, the Austin native. Played ball a few years ago at Bowie High School.
You know who else went to Bowie? Texas great, Blair Luna.
I thought you were going to say Texas great Megan Willis.
No.
An Arizona product.
There you go.
It'll be interesting to see what Bollinger follows up with, because just like the previous two batters, starting off way ahead, wasted a few pitches in the last couple of at-bats. We'll see if she goes right after it. Ahead 0-2 to Amber Lotz with 2 away. Strikes out the side. How's that for a relief performance for the senior from California? 1-2-3 frame. Bottom of the 5th. All the way for the Texas offense.
Losing the senior Ocasio, who threw almost all of their games. The rich get richer. You just see these top programs continue to build and get these great freshmen come in and step up right out of the chute.
In Texas Tech, we covered the Invitational this past weekend. They lost Cassidy Scott as Schottel retired, hustling to first base. Lost a few players, but still relentless so far early in the season, the Red Raiders. Back up to the top of the order we go for Texas.
And getting big wins. I mean, really, you take a look at who their first loss was against. It was against Washington, and they only lost 4-1. They put up, that was late in the game. It wasn't until the 5th or so that the Washington scored. Bree Russell hits a home run, and it's off of Tara Novello. So you see that's one of the best pitchers in the nation. Washington got back. Washington, depending what poll you're looking at, a top 5 or 6 team in the nation right now.
We saw her here in Austin a year ago when Washington paid a visit. Junior's hot bat continues. Her first home run of the season.
The 3rd time through, Alex, and I think you watched Hathaway get some really good at-bats. She's patient. She gets a ball that she can handle. I mean, it's inside, but the fact that she's able to wait on it just a tad bit longer, she drops the barrel, she mashes that one.
6th home run of the season by Texas, and the first by a non-Oregon transfer. So Hathaway now, with her 6th multi-hit game of the year, has a double and a home run tonight. Here's Janae Jefferson. Actually, pinch hitter Jana Roberts stepping in there for Jefferson, the freshman, after Jefferson did not extend her streak of reaching.
And this is one of those moves, again, that Coach White makes. He does it all the time. It gets me up here wondering, like, what the heck are you doing? You know, your best hitters up. But what I like is the fact that these players are working and figuring out where they can be. And umpire's going to call her out, even though she was out fielding. She was out of the box when she made contact with the ball. But again, trying different ways to get these batters, these not everyday players, chances to get out there and see live pitching. This might sound funny to you, but what I like about it is it just builds better teammates. You know, how you handle having someone come in to hit for you is just a sign of maturity, understanding the bigger picture, understanding the game. And if you as a leader, which Janae Jefferson is, understands the reason that she's not hitting, it might not have anything to do with her. It has everything to do with her teammates and who he wants to see, who Coach White wants to see bat. You just build trust in one another.
Taking one for the team.
Yeah.
Well, not pinch hit for Shannon Rhodes, was a single in the 3rd, drove in a run in the 1st on a sac fly. This one dropped into left field. 2nd hit of the night. So 3rd time through the order for Texas. They are 2 for 3 with a home run and a single. Up until then, Patak did a pretty good job holding the offense at bay. This is a Texas offense that is known for the big inning, for having at least just about 1 inning per game where the offense explodes. Hasn't happened yet. 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 1 here in the 5th. 1-1 to Mary Iacopo. 333 hitter with runners on.
Dwight talked about it when we interviewed him. It has everything to do with timing. They talk about only 3 parts of their hitting. It's timing, being on plane, and picking good pitches. Well, this is a pitch some people might think's out of the zone, but her hands were right on time. She's able to stay through the early and often and hopes to keep these batters off balance.
Pinch hitter for Texas, Alicia Espinosa, as the Longhorns continue to empty the bench. She is 1 for 4 so far as a Longhorn. The line on Jessica Patak, 5 runs allowed, 4 earned, and it really all caved in this inning when she gave up 2 home runs and a single.
You know, I think Coach Hall mentioned that in her interview as well. She knew that Patak was doing a great job. She's second time through, and she mentioned we're second time through, so we'll see how, you know, this continues. Just knowing that a hitting team like Texas, it's going to take a lot to fool them 3 times. And I think before the game, she knew that Emma was going to be coming in here in relief. They were going to take multiple pitchers here. I think that's the right move.
This is that big inning the Longhorns were looking for, after being held to 2 runs through the first 4. And Texas looking to move to 13-1, which would be their best start since 2013. Dugout has come alive after an electric inning at the plate. And a walk by the freshman Espinosa. Be another pinch hitter on the way for Texas, as it'll be the 3rd of the inning. The freshman Jaden Holker with her first collegiate at bat. Freshman from Aubrey, Texas. 16 home runs during her high school career. And again, making her first at bat as a Longhorn. Pinch hitting for Lauren Burke. Cool.
Right now, you're going to expect to see a couple more pinch hitters come in. KK Hyder on deck. This is a perfect time. Texas is up 5-0, midweek game again. Doing as much as you can to get more hitters, to see live pitching.
Holker fouls one off, so we've seen Roberts, Espinosa, and now Holker coming off the bench for Longhorns offense that has produced 5 runs off 6 hits, no errors. Houston Baptist, no runs, just 1 hit and 1 error. Patient at the plate for her first ever collegiate at bat. Go to a full count. Texas in this inning now 2 home runs, a single, and a walk. as many hits in this inning as they had in the first 4 combined.
You know, I liked when I was talking to Coach White before the game, just again talking about how often he goes to the bench and when he goes to the bench. And he's just like, you know, if I'm a player, I'm sitting there, if I don't get chances, I zone out. So if I start doing this early in the game, early in the season, then all of these batters have to think, hey, he might go to me. I was like, oh, you're sneaky. I see exactly what you did there.
Well, Coach White continues to change the lineup. Another pinch hitter. How about the at-bats by the freshmen Espinosa and Holker? They both show patience at the plate walking. And now it'll be the veteran KK Hyder coming off the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. Your very first collegiate at bat, you want to get a hit so bad. You're up there, you know. You want to swing at anything close, but hats off, understanding, again, big picture. And most of the time you swing in at a pitch out of the zone, you're not going to get on anyways.
They did reach, so now here's Hyder, 1 for 9 on the season. In her final campaign with the Longhorns. Not many seniors on the squad. In fact, only one senior in the entire starting lineup for Texas. That would be Becca Alcozer.
That slap, she is so fast. But here she steps up, she gets the ball up in the zone. You know that Gwendon wants to throw a strike. She does not want to walk anyone else. This is a great piece of hitting. She just shows off of her speed this time. She gets a triple easily on this ball.
Well, now Texas is 1 run away from ending the game. Hyder is over at third, and there'll be another pinch hitter coming up for Texas, another freshman, Mackenzie Parker, with a chance to seal it here in the bottom of the 5th. Parker still looking for her first hit as a Longhorn, 0 for 2. And again, good patience at the plate by a freshman and a rare at bat. Texas bats absolutely exploding this inning. Single, a triple, 2 home runs, and 2 walks. And it's not over yet.
You know, just like hits are contagious, attitude's contagious. I think confidence is contagious, and that's what you're watching with this Texas squad. Even the freshmen, you're watching them have great at-bats. You're watching pick up exactly what the starters are doing. I think, again, a lot of that has to do with the Oregon transfers that came in, but that all stems from the coaching staff. They learned all of this swag from the coaching staff there, which is Coach White, Coach Spencer, Kylie Quico coming in, all of them from Oregon. And when you have expectations of going to regionals, you go to the World Series 5 out of your 9 years coaching, those are some serious expectations. And if you're going to play under a staff like that, that's what they're expecting you to do. And you're watching all of these players just absolutely exude confidence.
Another change in the circle for the Huskies as the game is now on the line. Third pitcher of the contest for Houston Baptist. It'll be Elliot Estes, the sophomore from Redondo Beach, California, taking over.
The name of the game for Estes is throw strikes. You cannot put extra runners on right now. You've got to go and attack these batters. You've got 2 outs. Good news is you're at the bottom half of the lineup. Keep it at the knees. You know, just simple parts of the game. I mean, you try to make it as simple. It's, again, easier to say up here, but hit your corners, keep it low, keep the ball in the park, change speeds.
Texas has already run ruled the opponent in 6 of 13 games this year. They only had run rule wins in 5 out of 59 contests a year ago. There's Mallory Schottel. She will get a chance to bat, one of the few starters left in the lineup. First pitch strike from Estes. Misses outside. You got to get Schottel if you're Estes, because then you go back up to the top of the order. That has just done some major, major damage today and all season long.
And really looking out there on the circle right now, Tuesday, Dara Margosian. So Hathaway wouldn't even hit that inning, this inning.
This one sliced down the line, foul. Almost every batter has reached this inning for the Longhorns.
See Jenna Roberts there in the. Not only is it the run rule, but this is huge, I think, for Schottel to be able to step up in this situation. Someone who's been battling back and forth as a starter, trying to earn her way into a lineup. You watched really great at bats. What a big time to step up.
7th run rule win of the victory.